The question today is it worth upgrading your monitor or TV to 4K 120 FPS for the launch of the new consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X? Or maybe you have a new NVIDIA RTX 3080 or 3090, and you want to see that sweet, high refresh rate 4K gaming. And the answer is no. Or maybe. Or yes? How much money do you have? Because the answer here is actually all across the board depending on your specific needs. This is all based around the new HDMI 2.1 standard. It looks like a regular HDMI port. It acts like a regular HDMI port, except it can carry 38 gigabits per second, which is new, and that allows for 4K 120 FPS displays. The PlayStation 5 will support this, the Xbox Series X will support this, and the newest graphics cards from NVIDIA support this, the RTX 3080 and 3090. Most TVs and no monitors currently support this. So if you're looking for a monitor, you want to use this thing on your desk, you might want to hook it up to your computer and to a PlayStation and to an Xbox. It doesn't exist yet. It'll be soon, within the next few months, apparently. Most of the major manufacturers of monitors are saying this is right around the corner. HDMI 2.1 monitors that support 4K 120 FPS should be available late this year, 2020, or early next year, 2021. But you know what's going on in the world. Who knows what's actually going to happen, right? But they don't exist as of today. You can't go to the store and buy one today. If you're looking for a TV, that's a different story. You can go to the store. You can go to Best Buy, or you can order one off of Amazon or B&H or wherever. They're available today, and the price ranges they kind of fluctuate as widely as regular TVs fluctuate. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. This, for instance, is an LG 49-inch TV for $600. And this one, we'll go down to the specs here, does support 4K at 120 hertz. It even says on the back of the TV where you plug in the HDMI cord that it supports 4K 120 hertz. And it's a little bit confusing in the TV world because that 120 hertz terminology has actually been used for a long time to describe this, like, let's call it true motion plus smoothing 120 hertz technology, right? Where the panel itself can display 120 hertz, and there's software in the TV that smooths other content to 120 hertz, and it's where you get that soap opera effect that you see referred to in TV reviews. That is not the technology you're looking for here. That is different. And that is why this can be confusing. A lot of people think that they have TVs that currently support 4K 120 hertz, and they're wrong. When they hook up a PS5 or an Xbox Series X to them, the best they're going to get is 60 FPS because they don't have that HDMI 2.1 port. HDMI 2.1 is very new. It's not supported in a ton of devices yet. And actually, to find one at $600 here is pretty nice. This is actually a pretty good TV. I use the artings.com website to take a look at TV reviews quite frequently. Let me move that over a little bit. And they rate this one pretty highly, especially for video games. If you want to watch movies, there's better TVs for movies, but let's be honest, we're gamers. We're looking for the games. And this one does support high refresh rates gaming. It does have very low latency to it, input latency to it, which is nice. But one of the things you're going to find when you're looking for 120 hertz 4K displays is that the world is not ready to serve us our needs yet. Manufacturers' websites, retailers' websites, and even reviewers don't really know about this yet. They don't know that we're looking for it. They don't know how to serve us yet. If you go to bestbuy.com, you can search for 4K TVs, but you cannot search for 120 hertz. You cannot search for HDMI 2.1 yet. That's going to come, right? That's going to come in the future. Artings.com actually didn't get the review for this TV right. If you scroll all the way down to supported resolutions, what you see is that 4K at 120 hertz, no. So it's been proven that this TV does, in fact, work with an Xbox Series X. I believe, I can't remember, Austin Evans, I believe, grabbed the TV and did a review on YouTube of the TV. And he showed it does work with an Xbox Series X at 4K. So you should be good to go there with this TV. And it's a pretty good price. But it's not the best TV in the world, and it's a little bit small. So if you're putting this in a bedroom or in a home office, it may be the perfect size, but it's a little bit small. Also doesn't have the best picture quality in the world. So you may want to step up to something like an OLED TV, which is around 3 times the price. These things start at around $1,500 for a 48 or 55 inch version, and they are absolutely worth it. I have a 4K OLED TV in my living room, and even people who aren't into technology and don't pay attention to such things as how good is one's TV, look at this thing, are pretty immediately blown away by it. And a couple of them who've just shown up at my house, including my mother, is planning on buying one immediately. They're that good. But they cost a lot of money, and you have to be worried about OLED burn-in. So again, going back to rtings.com, I'd recommend anybody thinking about buying an OLED TV to game on should definitely read this article about burn-in. They actually tested 6 TVs for about 5 years to check for burn-in over time, and the results are not hugely concerning to gamers. Like, assuming you're not going to have a static image displayed on the TV for days at a time, you should be fine. It's worth knowing about. I had a plasma TV for years and years that I gamed on, had no issue for. It could happen. It's probably not going to happen. Read these kind of articles just to make sure that you're in the clear. But we're talking about $1,500. And in a worldwide pandemic, do you have $1,500 floating around for a new TV? I don't know. Look, if you already have a 4K TV and you're thinking about upgrading this set just to get 120 hertz, my recommendation would be to look at the games that support 120 hertz before you actually make that switch. On the new consoles, you're looking at Ori and the Will of the Wisps. You're looking at Halo Master Chief Collection, Dirt 5. There may be a couple more. But the big heavy hitters, like the big games that are visually spectacular, the God of Wars, the Demon Souls, like the Bloodborne 2s, if that ever happens. These games are going to support 4K 60, hopefully, right? It's like these games are going for max visual fidelity. They're not going to be looking at 120 FPS, I don't think. I mean, I'm guessing here, but a game like Blind Forest or Ori and the Will of the Wisps, obviously it's going to look amazing at 120 FPS. Halo Master Chief Collection, going to look great. 4K 120 FPS for a 20-year-old game, that's going to be amazing. Dirt 5, I don't even know if I'm going to play Dirt 5 at 120 FPS because it's been shown that the visual fidelity is a little bit lower, and the jump from like 30 FPS to 60 FPS is huge. The jump from 60 to 120 is less huge. And if the game doesn't look as good because you're doing it, it could be a problem. And we don't know in the future how many games are actually going to support that 120 FPS mode. Maybe there will be an upgrade path in the future, the PS5 Pro or the Series XX. I don't know. If I was buying a new 4K TV right now, I would definitely prioritize HDMI 2.1 so that I am compatible with the 4K 120 FPS standard. I would definitely do that. If I was upgrading right now from a 1080p TV or from an older set, maybe I bought a 3D TV set back in the day, definitely would prioritize this. Currently, I do have a 4K TV, and I'm not convinced about the 120 FPS. When the monitors come out, I'm definitely buying a monitor that supports 120 FPS, 4K 120 FPS, because it's going to be usable on my PC and on my consoles. And I think that's going to be very compelling. If you're buying a new TV, anyway, I would definitely get one. If you're not planning on upgrading, except to get 120 FPS, I would wait. I would wait to see how important this actually is, how many games actually support it, because I'm suspecting it's not going to be that many. It's going to be the low visual fidelity games. The games like Rocket League, are going to definitely support it. I know that Rainbow Six Siege is going to support it, right? But that's a last gen game, brought up to the next gen. So, it really depends on your priorities, whether you want this or not. And I think that your next TV is going to support it, whether you care about it or not. And maybe at that point, more games are actually supporting it. So to me, this is a definite wait on this, right? You're on the bleeding edge. We've already seen with these OLED TVs that the people who early adopted the OLED TVs and were able to get a hold of NVIDIA RTX 3080s or 3090s were having problems at launch. Apparently, the TVs have had a firmware fix that fixed it. Do you know how to upgrade your firmware on your TV? I don't. So there's definitely bleeding edge problems with this stuff right off the bat. In a few months, we're going to see monitors that support it. Over the course of a couple of years, I think every 4K TV is going to support it. It seems so obvious to wait on this. Unless you are in need of a TV right now, then I would absolutely prioritize 2.1, HDMI 2.1 when buying a TV. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. I'll be really actually checking out the comments here to answer any questions that I can or point you in the right direction. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.